Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this new year. September is the new year for me and for many of you. This is our last of the year session about writing. So we're sort of coming to this moment from our summer of writing and having one last wonderful opportunity to really play with writing poetry. And we have Anna Willman, who you all know and love, here to help us. And welcome. Katerina, you're going to introduce Anna, although she has no introduction.
So we know Anna Willman has written many books, and she has been teaching focusing for decades. She had a beautiful project called the Confidence Clinic, and out of that have grown many focusing exercises, a very special one that she brings us today. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, well, welcome. I guess I want to start quickly with saying actually this exercise came out of the Northwest gathering. And it was something that I put together for a Focusing Follies event. And it worked out really well, and I have worked on it and refined it a bit. And it's an exercise that is a wonderful way of bringing together the sense of the whole event that it happens at. It's great to do at the end of a weekend conference or any kind of a ongoing program as a way of bringing the group together. I think I'll just explain briefly how it is. I'm going to do sort of a guided attunement kind of thing, and then I'll be asking you a couple of questions. I hope you have something ready to write with. You're not going to do a lot of writing for this, just a couple of lines that will end up being lines of a poem. And I will give you instructions on how to get there. And then when you go into the breakout groups, you will go in groups of, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, depending on the total size of the group. And each breakout room will become a stanza of the poem. The lines you write you will, as a group, decide what order to put them in your stanza. That's your job in the breakout room. And you'll go for it. You'll hopefully be speaking from your felt sense of what you've heard everybody wrote and feel how the lines all fit together best. And you'll sort of negotiate that in your breakout room. And then you'll bring it back to the group, and each group will read their stanza, and there's your poem. And then what will happen is we'll collect the stanzas. So in your breakout room, I've never done this online before, so this is a bit experimental. But each group will pick somebody who will sort of report back to the group and read their group stanza. And then when they come back to the group, they will type their stanza into the chat so that all the stanzas can be collected. And then afterwards, either me or if somebody wants to volunteer to do it, I would love to hand it off to somebody. But what I would normally do, I would go around, I'd give people 3x5 cards. They'd hand me a little packet of the cards in the order that they go, and then I would take them home and type them into my computer and play with them and figure out what order to put the stanzas, because that's the final step of putting together the final poem. And I would pull a title out of the content of the poem, and then it would get sent out to everybody, and everybody would get a copy of the poem as it finished. So that's how I've done it. But what I'm hopefully somebody here might decide they want to take on that task, and I'll give them whatever support they need in order to do that if they want to take that on. And all I can say is the first time I did it, I had no idea what I was doing, so it's okay. You don't have to know what you're doing to do it. So that's basically the exercise. And I'm so happy to see there's quite a few people here I know, and I'm really pleased to see you. And does anybody have any questions at this point about what we're going to do today? Alistair.
Hi, Anna. Could you put the instructions for the exercise in the chat, please? That might be easier even for.
Pardon? What I
Or
do?
Can you put the instructions in the chat?
We'll put some notes in the chat. Yes, yes.
Actually, you won't need it in the chat. I'll tell you again just before you go in. I have them like on a piece of paper like this, and I do have a handout that I will give to Katerina to send out to you guys afterwards, so you'll know what to do if you ever decide you want to do this exercise somewhere else. But I don't think this would be very helpful.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for asking.
And I have a silly question.
Yes.
What will make a poem? What is a poem? I know that's a very big question.
Now, in my mind, a poem is a felt sense put down on paper.
Beautiful.
And this is going to be a collective felt sense.
A collective felt sense put on paper. That's very yummy.
Okay, so are you ready to start? Okay, so the first thing you do is I want you to just get yourself physically comfortable and relax. And I'm just going to do a sort of ordinary attunement to get us all here. So just let your whole body just sort of let go and surrender to the tug of gravity. Just let yourself sink into whatever is supporting you, the seat of your chair, cushion. Just feel your physical body resting into your physical environment. Maybe notice where your feet are, support under them. Notice where your hands are resting. Just let your shoulders droop a little bit. Just everything going down, feeling the tug of gravity gently holding us on the surface of the planet. Just surrender. Notice how your neck supports your head. The back of the chair supporting your body, or else your balance, whatever's holding you up. Just let yourself feel a little gratitude for the support. Notice the rhythm of your breathing, the rise and fall of your body. Feel the cool air coming in, bringing oxygen and energy to your whole body. And notice the air leaving is warmed by your body, rich with carbon dioxide and other gases needed by the plants to nurture the plants on the planet. You might just notice how just being alive You are interacting with this planet, with the atmosphere, with the gravity. Just being alive is an interaction. It's marvelous. Our bodies are just right to get nourishment from the air and to return different nutrients back, an exchange of gases. The planet is made for us and we're made for the planet. Just get that sense of this is where we belong. This is our home. We are actively a part of the planet we live on. Now, I want you to just take a moment and picture in your mind all the past Monday mornings that you have been here at Help the Helpers. Sort of see if you can just get a sense of the whole experience of being a part of this group, of getting the support from each other and from Lynn. Sense of what role this experience, this shared experience of this weekly group, what role does this play for you in your life? What's the essence of this group for you? Why are you here? Why do you keep coming back? And just sit with this for a moment. Don't write anything yet. I want you to just sit, sort of soaking in all that you have experienced here over the years you've been coming as a whole. And so, what does your body say to you about this? When you're ready, just pick up your pencil or whatever device you're using for writing, and just write a couple of words, a phrase, maybe a sentence that sort of captures what for you the essence of this Help the Helpers experience has been. And maybe when you're done, you could go into the reaction section of your thing and put up maybe a little green go dot or something so that I know when to go on with the next question. A heart will do. Is there anyone who needs more time? Can you just tell me if you do?
I do.
Okay, I'll wait a little longer.
Thank you.
I have a couple more questions, so you don't have to get it all into this one. So the second question I have is for you to think back over the time you've been here and see if you can remember a specific instance that embodies what you first wrote about what the essence of the program is. Maybe it could be something somebody said here that impacted you. Maybe it could be an interaction between other people that you observed. Maybe it could be something that you were able to take out of here and use in your life. Maybe it was just a sense of feeling of belonging that happens here, but something that specifically happened that really resonated for you. Something as specific as you can get. And maybe notice whether it has a sound, a color, a smell attached to it, anything. This is a little difficult because we're online. I usually do this in person, so there's more visual things happening. Maybe a poem somebody read, that somebody brought. Something that happened here that really kind of embodies that what your felt sense of the whole is. And if you can find something like that, write that down underneath what you wrote before.
Did you say the felt sense of the whole?
The first was the sort of the felt sense of the whole. This is a specific something that happened that is an instance of that, something that is a very specific example of what that felt sense is about. Something that says, that's exactly what this group means to me. This totally illustrates it. And again, call on your body to pick out the instance. You probably already have it from when you were thinking of the whole. There may be something that came to your mind when you were thinking of the whole that helped you come up with that. Some bit of wisdom received, some emotion that was charged. Something that enriched your life in a very specific way. I'm sure there are many, but I only want you to write down one. And I guess I want to see, even though this is a poem, I don't want you to worry about perfection. I want you to write from your body, from your heart, from your liver, if you like. So the next step and the last step of writing is to, if you had 3x5 cards, I would tell you to turn the card over, but just go down below what you've written now and write just one line, possibly two if you need to. That would be a line or two of a poem. And the content of the line you already know. It's in what you've already written down. So what I want you now is to put it in final form, and you may already have done that, but I want you to just take a look at it now. Does this, just write a line of poetry that says what you were feeling when you wrote those words down, and put in it whatever you want to, but you've got the content right there. If you finish writing it, take the time while we're waiting for others to just hold what you've written and feel it in your body and see and ask your body, is this right? Do I have it? Is this what I wanted to say? Just run it past your internal felt sense. It's sort of like focusing, seeing if the handle matches the feeling. So see if the line of poetry you have written matches your feeling, your felt sense. And of course, we know felt senses are slippery, they change even as we listen to them. And so that's okay for the felt sense to say, well, that's what it was 5 minutes ago, but it's not now. And you can leave it the way it was 5 minutes ago if that feels okay. So are we pretty much all ready? For some reason, the first page of people all have their hands up and the second page don't. I don't know why that's so. I don't see any hands except on the front page. So maybe that's a computer thing. You're nodding, Charles, so I guess that's a computer thing.
I think it moves hands up to the front.
Oh, of course they do. Of course. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Do people feel ready to move on? Okay, so I'm going to have you put into breakout rooms. If for some reason you do not want to participate in the breakout room, be sure to let Christine know through chat or whatever, so you don't get put into a group. I'm going to give the groups, what do you think? 15 minutes ought to be enough for you to read your lines to each other and decide what order to put them in, or would you like 20 minutes?
15 sounds good.
Okay, let's try with 15, and if you want more, then you can. And Lenore, you said you had to go. Maybe you've gone already. I was going to suggest you leave your line behind for somebody, but
Yeah, I'm here, but I just want to say not to put me in a room.
okay. Well, okay, all right. It's fine. Whatever you want. I always think people should be able to say no.
Okay, thank you.
Anna, how many of the lines are we meant to contribute?
Whatever you have decided. I usually I prefer one, but often people take two, and that's okay. It just makes for a slightly longer stanza. We don't have to rhyme or anything like that. This is not like, you know, Shakespearean couplets or anything like that. We're so it's fine if the stanzas are not all the same length. So probably not more than 2 lines per person, though. Then it would get too long, maybe. But I'll let you in the group decide, and let you as an individual. If you've got 3 lines and you don't want to give one up, then keep them. Who cares? It's a poem. It's not a rule book.
So,
Yes.
after reading our lines, what do we do?
Okay. The first thing you do when you get into a breakout room is you pick somebody to collect, to write it down the way you decide to organize it, and type it into chat as soon as you come back to the main group.
Okay.
So somebody who's fast, I guess, at
Yes,
typing
yes.
would be
Yeah.
good. And to pick somebody to read your stanza to the group. Either from the chat or from writing it down themselves.
Okay.
And that's all I need from you to do first. And then what you do is you just read your lines to each other, and then sort of somebody generally sort of steps in and says, oh, I think this is a great line to begin with, and so then you start figuring out how they follow. They may flow naturally one to the other. They may be quite different and sort of be just like a laundry list of things, because you're all talking about the same subject, but you're coming at it from your own particular perspective. And there will be things that fit together naturally and things that sort of surprise, or like a surprise next to the other. And that's wonderful in a poem. So you figure out what within your group feels interesting way of putting them together, either different things together or group what's similar, and sometimes you'll be surprised how one line just flows into another, and you end up with two things from two different people forming a complete sentence that's really magical. So just play with it until it feels right to the group. Work for consensus rather than a vote. But be gentle with each other and kind to each other. Deal with one another with, what do we say, compassion and curiosity. Okay?
Just in time.
No, that wasn't 15 minutes.
Was that 15 minutes?
Huh?
It might have been.
I knew we should have said 20.
I think 15
said
was
20.
short.
Uh,
Yeah.
Do people need more time? Should I send you back to the rooms?
We didn't finish.
I don't. Oh,
I think we need another 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm
Can we go to the
willing to
same
give
room?
it to you. We have plenty of time. This exercise is, the rest of the time is for discussion and stuff, so.
I think we're done, so maybe we can stay.
well,
I
I
just
think
we open the
the
rooms.
decision has been made.
Yeah, I can stay here. I was all alone in room 1 anyway, so I can stay here.
Yeah,
And
you're with us.
yeah,
I'm curious about the experience.
yeah, I was hoping we'd have that discussion afterwards with the
Yeah.
larger group, but
Uh-huh.
if somebody wants to share now in this smaller arena, that's fine too.
Yeah, I liked that experience of there being different. It's funny, it fit actually with the sentence that I brought. That feeling of different minds working together actually to produce the one thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I
good way.
love, okay, go ahead, Alistair.
No, I was just gonna say that it's a good way of meeting people. I mean, if you just tell me to go into a room and speak to people, I don't know what to say, but if you could, if there's some task to do, then we can
Yes,
sort of concentrate on the task and get to know people while doing the task.
yes, and that's one of the things I like about it is you're creating something together. And so it's, when I use things like this with a group, then the group feels more cohesive and they feel that they can do things together that they wouldn't necessarily be able to do by themselves. And so it strengthens bonds within a group.
No, you're
Yeah.
so right. Yes. Sorry, you wanted to say something, Roxanne.
Oh yeah, I was just, as Anna was saying this, right? Just the word co-creation pops up, and it feels great to see everyone's work come together in a cohesive. I assume it's cohesive. Our work is cohesive. At least it feels cohesive to me, and we all come from different parts of the world.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
and
the
this
three of us who are in
and
the
this
same room.
And this fits in well with my background in community wellness focusing. And so I'm really interested in writing exercises and how they happen when they're happening in a group context. Even when people are writing separately in their journals and then sharing what they wrote, it's a shared activity. It becomes a shared activity instead of a private activity. And then people get to know each other in ways that they wouldn't just from talking. And it's somehow sometimes safer to share from the written word than to speak freely, or especially for people who don't feel comfortable speaking out normally. Then they know what they're going to say before they start, so it feels a little more comfortable.
Yes, I like what Alistair said about it being easier when getting to know other people is the byproduct, the result of doing something together, because it's, they're much more directed than, oh, get to know these people.
That actually too is to some degree a gender-based thing. It's easier for men, for example, to share deep secrets while they're working together to fix an automobile engine than it is sitting face to face talking. That sense of working on a project together, sort of, they don't have to look each other in the eye, and they can talk about what's going on at home or things like that more comfortably than they would if they were told to just sit down in a room together and talk.
Yes. Yes.
Quite interesting.
Such a beautiful way as well to make sure you really, each individual really is really it really brings themselves in and feels brought in, whilst also welcoming that whole cohesion of the whole group. It's unusual. It's very effective in a very
It
beautiful.
is. Yeah. And it's good for women too. It's just that women are more comfortable sitting in a group and talking about themselves often than men are. And that may vary from culture to culture. I'm sure there's some cultures where men do it more easily than women, but certainly in the United States, I know that's very true of a difference between men and women.
Well, I think women often get to know each other around cooking together and things like that.
Yeah, and our old tradition of patchwork quilts and things like that, that was women talking and gossiping over the sewing and stuff like that, or weaving, things like that. So it's true, women have a history of doing that as well.
And actually the patchwork quilt would be a wonderful physical example of what we just did if everyone contributed their own square.
Yes, that's such a good image. Yes, that we're making a quilt.
And we did that at the confidence clinic a couple of times. We had one of my staff members was a quilter, and so the women all agreed to do a different patch, and they gave it to me at graduation. I had no idea they were working on it. And so I have this wonderful quilt that's made that way. Each woman made a different patch, and then the staff member put it all together in a quilt for them.
Beautiful.
Nice.
And it was really valuable because it was bonding for them.
Well, I see. Are we all back? Many of us are back.
Many. I think we had 2 pages before.
The daylight is just beginning here.
We might have
Gathering.
lost some people to going back to work, this
Oh,
Monday.
that's true. That's true.
So I guess I'm wondering if we should take maybe a 5-minute break or to let people give people time to type their stanzas into the chat. Maybe 10 minutes so that people who type could also get a little break. Does that feel okay?
We may all have them on the clipboard already.
Yeah.
Are they already on?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
think so.
You guys are
That
amazing.
was
Yeah, let's
Yes,
put 'em.
yes, yes.
Dorothy, do you want
Okay.
me to put it in or do you want to put it in?
Can you put it in?
Sure, sure.
Thanks.
Okay, when it's all in, and then groups will just take a turn, each take a turn and read it to the whole group.
Yes, we have 25 minutes left, and we want time for discussion also.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess I could maybe while that typing in is going on, the last of the entering, I could talk a little bit about the fact that I am starting a 6-session writing course
Yeah, put it in.
through Focusing Initiatives International. This coming Friday will be a 1-hour free introductory class, basically showing people the essence of what I'm teaching, which is how to really get in touch, let your body provide the content, like we did today. And that's free and is listed under the free webinars. But if you go into the training, you will see there's a 6-session course that's starting on September the 28th. It's not every Saturday. There's a couple of Saturdays are skipped, but basically it's at 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, Pacific time, which makes it 10 o'clock Eastern time. And each one, there's like one on fiction, one on writing poetry, your whole poem of your own this time, on writing nonfiction, and on doing writing exercises for groups like this one we did today, and one on journaling, and one on editing. And all of this is, the title of this course is Writing from Your Body. So if anyone is interested, you can explore it at Focusing Initiatives, and that's focusinginternational.org.
Maybe you could just put that Friday meeting.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat now. Yeah.
Okay, and I think, Katerina, didn't you send that out to everybody?
They didn't take it. It was too long, but it's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
And it will go with the recording.
Okay, great. And I have a handout that tells exactly step by step how to do this if you want to facilitate a group poem sometime. And I'll send you that, Katerina, to send out as well.
And Alistair put in the URL. Thank you.
Okay. So are the stanzas all in the chat now? Anybody else have any more typing to do? So who are the assigned readers? Okay. Dorothy, why don't you start? You're muted.
Thank you. Although challenging at times, the acceptance and warmth of others led to my growth, a holding of my being with all of its fears and longings and sadnesses and good feeling, drawing on paper this inner state into colors and shapes that bring me delight, and I can touch others with my feelings of being. Heart in moonlight, shaping timeless interaction, home of memories dissolving. Life feels so good when it is welcome and celebrated. embodied connection to the deeper self, a gateway to the mysterious more.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
beautiful. Next stanza. Who's next? I can't see.
Shall I do one here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. A worldwide spread bowl of welcome. The norm remains abnormal, despite and because of my effort to make it so and make it not so. We are one. We matter. Each one of us. Touchstone at the oasis of winter modesty.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Oh.
Roxanne, were you one of the readers?
Yes. Lynn cheerfully greets me, and she cheerfully greets other people. And I feel accepted and at ease. As I walk down the path, the heart is calling me. A hive of bees buzzing together, making honey.
Beautiful. Wow.
This is amazing. It's always amazes me, the poetry that comes out of this process. Who's next? Who else is reading?
Um,
I can read.
Marianne.
Yeah, I can read next. Okay, let's see. Mine's at the bottom after all the other stuff that got put in. Okay, to be with another, reflections and pool of self and others to find a common humanity. Reaching for connection, walls transform. Being with wise, thoughtful people. This community of authentic expression and acceptance.
Oh, wow. I love that, the authentic community. Are there any more, or is that it? So there are 4 stanzas? Okay. Great. I have a question now. Is there a volunteer who would like to undertake determining what order these stanzas belong, and from the content of them, creating a title for the poem? If nobody else wants to do it, I'm happy to do it, but I have done this before and this is an opportunity. And if you want to contact me and get a little coaching, I can give you a few pointers now, but if you feel, I don't know if I did it right, you can certainly contact me and I'll walk you through it.
Also might be fun if 2 people did it together in partnership.
That would be good too.
I actually wondered if we wanted to do it here.
We
Maybe it's too
could,
much.
but I thought it would be nice to have some conversation about the process, and we're getting
Yes.
thinner on time.
Oh, we've got quite a bit of time.
12 minutes.
And don't we have a poem
Yes.
to read too? So,
We do.
Oh, Rayford's song. Yes, Dorothy.
Yes, let's, if you would,
I can do it and if somebody wants to volunteer later, they can contact me.
they can put it in the chat. And if
Yeah.
someone would like to do it with someone else, put that in the chat.
Can I clarify? Is it there are 2 tasks? The first one is to sequence the 4 poems, and then the last is to give a title.
Yes. And by the way, then this poem needs to be considered as a gift to you. But everybody will get a copy. But the purpose of the poem, my intention from the beginning is that this poem would be a gift to you, Lynn, for all the years you've put in to
Oh,
making this possible.
wow.
So there's a poem for you.
That's a wonderful gift. Wow.
This might be a good time just to mention, Lynn, that when we are told something will be sent out to us, I don't get it. I don't receive any.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So this
Yeah,
is a
me too.
wonderful time. How do you get on the list to receive things?
Would anybody that hasn't gotten things, please put that in the chat right now, and Christine will make sure that you are on the list and get things.
Thank you.
And get things also.
Yes.
So I
Can
think
try the exercise. Sorry to interrupt.
I interrupted somebody.
Oh, I was saying that I'm happy to try the exercise.
Good, good.
If everyone is okay. Shall we begin, or we have other announcement?
so. I was just sort of waiting to make sure that everybody had a chance to get their name in the chat if they wanted. I would like to just get a little feedback from people about the exercise, how it felt for them to be part of this process. And also I'm interested in wondering if you, and finding out if you think you might use it sometime in the future with the groups that you're working with or whatever. But anything you want to say is fine.
Thank
Anna.
you.
Hi,
Sorry.
it's Pauline. I'm in a place that I can't use my camera this week, but just grateful for being part of today, even though I was missing out some of it. I also just had tuned into your last presentation, and that was as rich as this. Also, I'd like to put my name forward to make sure people get stuff if they want to. You know, I know that Christine has a lot of work to do, so I don't mind volunteering for that. So that's just 2 interventions. So I'll put my our email on the list now. Thanks again. And it's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a bit of a discussion while some of you were off in a small group, and I guess I could just summarize what people were saying was that working together in the production of something, in creating something together, was a wonderful way to feel of getting to know people in a different context, kind of, and it allowed for sharing in a different format, and that it was really nice to participate in creating something that way, and making social connections that way also. And I do think that using writing exercises like this can be very helpful in a group. And I guess I would also like to say is if you're working with a group of people who do not have writing skills, maybe aren't even literate, you can use pictures instead. You can do artwork from the felt sense and create something beautiful that way. And we were also talking about quilt making. This is sort of this poem is kind of a quilt in words in a way. And so that people who do sewing and stuff could make different patches on a quilt based from their felt senses of a group or an experience that is shared. So co-creation can happen in many different forms. Writing is just one of them.
It was a lovely way to both think about all of what we've gained from Lynn's group week after week and to actually put it into words. It was quite amazing to hear everyone's responses. So thank you. It was,
I have one request. Yeah, is that okay? Should I say it now?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been writing my autobiography,
Ah,
and I need someone to edit it, to start to edit it. It's 65 pages right now. And there's quite a bit in there about Jen Lynn and Mary Hendricks and changes. Because that's how I came into focusing, is I learned my focusing and listening from Mary and from Eugene Genlin. Because I'm from Chicago. Back in I feel old now, back in 1970s.
Well, editing from one's felt sense is really powerful. And by the way, the workshop that the 6-session workshop I'm giving, you can sign up for just one or two of them, or you can sign up for all of them. You don't have to sign up for every one, so that if you have a limited budget, you could pick which one you wanted to sign up for. And the last one is editing.
Okay.
So you might be interested in signing up for that one, even if you aren't interested in all the others. So
I'll think
I think
about it.
David might be requesting a beta reader, somebody to just read through.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
know, that's my, yeah.
just to read through it. That's all I want someone to do, is to read through it.
Right.
When I mentioned my sons, I've given them the part already, what I've said about them, and they're going to get back to me.
I know someone who might do that. But I guess you're asking for a volunteer from the group.
Oh,
Right.
no, it can be anybody. If you know someone, I'll contact them. Just send me an email and I'll contact.
Deanna's Griffin. So we'll let her know. Yeah. Maybe lots of people could edit. If you put your email in the chat, we could all chime in.
I'll go put my email in the chat. Okay.
That's good.
Thank you. Yes.
do you belong to a writers group at all? Because I have found writers groups very helpful in that, and often if you have a writers group, one of the members will do the beta read for you.
No, I'm not in the group.
We could start one today.
Anyway, I think I want to sort of step back into the conversation. Is there anything anybody else wants to say about this exercise? And I really want you to hear the poem.
I want to say, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Lucy has her hand up.
Go ahead, Lucy. And Steph.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you, Anna, for asking that question. Might you use this in any groups? Because it gave me an idea. I'm wanting to offer some free space, some free group space to people from the Jewish diaspora to felt sense together and share a kind of interweave of felt senses around the themes of identity, home, and belonging. And it wasn't until you asked that question that it occurred to me that actually to add this exercise at the end of those groups could be very special.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for this.
That's a beautiful offering, Lucy. Very needed.
Yes.
Well,
I
have given my instructions to people before, and they say it's easy to do with it written out like that. So
wonderful. Thank you. So yes, consider yourselves invited if you are part of the Jewish diaspora, and please spread the word to anyone who you know who's good at focusing or felt sensing in general who is.
Please put that in the chat.
I will do that now.
Anna, Anna, the instructions for how we do this, where is that?
I'm going to give the an electronic copy to Katerina, and she'll send it out to the mailing list.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I wanted to say that I am continually trying to, I hope sometimes succeeding to teach about the felt sense of the us. And this exercise just puts that right out there. You could just feel the felt sense of the us as the quilt is being formed, that it's much larger than each statement. And all these statements are a way of thinking together that we don't even know that we are thinking together. We never think by ourselves. Thinking is always collaborative, even when we don't know it. And you can really see that, in this exercise.
It's interesting how each poem that I've done this with ends up with a very strong theme that runs throughout all the stanzas. I mean, it makes sense because it's a shared experience, but the reality is each one comes to it from a different place. And so although there are some surprises, I mean, even the same phrases will be in completely different stanzas of people just responding to the questions in a way. It's pretty exciting. And I'm happy to share this. I want to see the whole world doing things like this.
Well, the word that came up in our group was magical. There was like a magical feeling to it, and there was no editing. So it was very liberating. It's like a liberating experience that everyone had their full voice. And then we put everybody's full voice together, and it creates this magical, and the feeling was magical. There was a feeling of joy and magic and
when you're
compelling.
and whoever does it, when you're picking a title, you look for words like that come up frequently, or maybe there'll be one phrase that seems to capture the whole poem, and you just draw the phrase from that line of the poem. And the other thing is, when I'm ordering the stanzas, I try to keep them pretty much as they were written, but every now and then there'll be a line that is so important that I take it out of the stanza and put it all by itself and make that one line a stanza. And usually like the last line in the poem will be that, because it sums up everything. If I find a line like that, I steal it from the stanza and put it at the end of the poem, just to help pull it all together. So whoever decides to do that should feel free to do that if something like that stands out. I've done that maybe twice. I don't do it every time, but sometimes it just calls out to be done. And I let my felt sense hear the call.
Yes, hello.
I should say one more thing. I am not a poet. I've probably written 10 poems in 80 years of life, if that many.
Mhm.
And one of them was just a little jingle about writer's block. So it's really the felt sense is a natural poet. Our
Wow.
bodies thrive on metaphors. Language is built from metaphors, basically. And so when you really speak from the felt sense, it becomes beautiful.
Yeah, I think we have cooked a nice curry today. The curry scent is always, lingering. And I think we have really put in times for the curry to be cooked and blended well today with the instructions that we've given. Thank you, Anna.
Oh, you're so welcome.
It's a
Love that.
lovely
Yeah.
metaphor. Lovely metaphor to end. Making curry together.
Yeah, I can see a pot of really delicious curry with all the herbs, all the masalas. Blend
The
so
odor
well.
and
And
So
the sweet vegetables. Thank you, Sulin.
you're so very welcome.
a magical curry.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Uh,
So are we going to have time to read the poem? Is
Oh,
that-
yeah. Let's
let's do the
Yeah.
the poem.
I love this poem.
And I'd be happy to work with Roxanne to bring this forward, you know, that you requested, that we could maybe work together and bring that forward. So I'll put my name forward. Hi, Roxanne.
Great.
Okay. Just to finish that bit of it.
Okay, thank you so much. And if you guys need help or want any sort of support in the process, you can contact me.
Thank you so much.
I
Thanks,
don't know
Anna.
how, I'm Katerina knows how to reach me, so I guess you could do it through her. Is that all right, Katerina? I'd put it in chat, but I can't put things in chat and do other things at the same time. I'm really not a multitasker. I'm a monotasker.
Okay, thank you for this poem, Anna. It's quite amazing. It's called Rayford's Song by Lawson Ineda. And it's from Legends from the Camp. Lawson Ineda is a Japanese American and was interned in a camp as a small child with his parents during World War II. When they left the camp after the war, they lived for a while in Fresno, which was in California, which was a diverse and low-income community. The poem comes from his experiences there in the 3rd grade. Rayford's song was Rayford's song, but it was not his alone to own. He had it, though, and kept it to himself as we rowed the boat through English country gardens with all the whispering hope we could muster, along with occasional choruses of funicula, funicula, funiculi, funicula. Weren't we a cheery lot coming round the mountain with Susanna, banjos on our knees, romping through the leaves of the 3rd grade music textbook? Then Rayford Butler raised his hand for the first time, actually, in all the weeks he had been in class, and for the only time before he'd leave. Yes, quiet Rayford, silent Rayford, little Rayford, dark Rayford, always in the same overalls that Rayford Butler, raised his hand. Miss Gordon, ma'am, we always singing your songs. Could I sing one of my own? Pause. We looked at one another. We looked at Rayford Butler. We looked up at Miss Gordon, who said, well, I suppose so, Rayford. If you insist, go ahead. Just one song, make it short. And Rayford Butler stood up straight and in his high voice sang, swing low, sweet a chariot, a coming for to carry me a home. Pause. Classroom, school, schoolyard, neighborhood. The whole world focusing on that one song, one voice, which had a light to it, making even Miss Gordon's white hair shine in the glory of it, glowing in the radiance of the song. Pause. Rayford Butler sat down, and while the rest of us may have been spellbound on Miss Gordon's face, was something like a smile or perhaps a frown. Very good, Rayford. However, I must correct you. The word is chariot. Do you understand me? But Miss Gordon, I said chariot. Chariot. Can you pronounce that for me? Yes, Miss Gordon. Chariot. Very good, Rayford. Now, class, before we turn to our book, would anyone else care to sing a song of their own? Our songs were there on tips of tongues, but stuck in throats. Songs of love, fun, animals, and valor, songs of other lands in other languages, but they just wouldn't come out. Where did our voices go? Rayford's song was Rayford's song, but it was not his alone to own. Well then, class, let's turn our books to Old Black Joe.
Oh,
Thank you.
It's such a true poem, both beautiful and sad.
Yeah, brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah. And you have the feeling that teacher felt she was being really flexible and gracious and kind and well-intentioned. And she killed all of those songs in those children's hearts.
See you all next week, and thank you again, Anna. And I'm so looking forward to getting my poem, my
you
gift.
did the opposite, Anna. You did the opposite. Thank you.
Yes,
That's
Yes.
right.
well
Yes, thank
stated.
Dorothy, will you share your poem too?
Oh, maybe Katerina, when you send around, you mean Rayford's poem, the poem that we just read? Katerina, maybe when you send the email, you could include that poem. Is that a possibility? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I sent you, I took pictures from my book because Katerina couldn't find it online anywhere. But I don't know if you still have those pages, Katerina. I have them I can send them to you if you like.
We do have it online, and it is in the chat, and I put my email address as well.
Is it in
Anybody could email to me. Yes.
Foundation or
Yes.
okay?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
And I'll put the
Bye.
link in a moment here.
I could also send it to
To
Christine.
Dorothy. Yeah.
Bye now.
Well, thank you. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
coming. I would be coming more frequently, but it's 5 o'clock in the morning my time. So
Oh, wow.
You are a hero.
Wow.
Thank you for coming.
I'm always happy to come. Thank you.